them away, forever. Find out more at theplasticsurgeryclinic.ca and book your free consultation. Cool Sculpting at theplasticsurgeryclinic.ca. It stops fat cells cold.
Kind of different. Maybe Brian Giunta will stay. I'm convinced Brian will stay as the captain on this team. But after that, you need to wonder who's going to be around for a long time in this dressing room. So I wonder if Ted's going to be there. But right now, he was the one taking all the blame for what happened when they lost 14 games in a row.
You know, Renaud, in a lot of sports, whenever a deal like this is made, people sort of look at it as having a domino effect and possibly creating other moves. We're still a couple of weeks away from the deadline. Do you see this as having that type of impact, or is this deal so big that it kind of stands by itself?
Right now, it stands by itself. There's no doubt about that. I mean, yes, the Canucks were interested in getting Kane, but at the same time, they were not really getting all the draft picks that the Sabres were asking for. And I'm convinced that it's a little bit what Mark Bergevin and maybe other GMs, when they call, they received the same answer, and really the only team who could really dance with the Jets were the Buffalo Sabres. So it stands on his own island right now, but there's one player, when you think about Tyler Myers being moved, and it was quite sure that you would have been moved before the trading deadline, you need to look at the Ds and who's available. Obviously, Cody Franzen is up there, but at the same time, I'm always getting back to the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs, Leon Phaneuf. It's going to happen at one point. Is it going to be before March 2nd? If it's working for a few teams, like the Ducks are really looking for defensemen, maybe. But at the deadline, I'm quite convinced that it maybe not going to happen, but let's get the draft. I'm convinced that Dion's going to be the captain of the Maple Leafs next season. He's only 29 years old, and he's got... I think he's a good defenseman, and he's in a bad situation right now, bad spot in Toronto. He needs to go, you know what, he needs to go in California or out west. He needs to go in a place where he won't be the captain, he won't have all the responsibility on his shoulder. He will be, you know, a player that will be in a group where, yes, they need a player like him, but at the same time, he's going to be able to play with less pressure. And he's only 29. If there's a time to trade a guy like Dion, it's right now. Don't wait 2-3 years. And it's going to be good for Dion Phaneuf, and it's going to be good for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And so, is it going to be at the deadline? Not convinced because of the salary cap. Can it happen later during the summer? It could.
Renaud, how many teams do you think were in on Evander Kane?
Oh, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. Because first of all, we all know what happened 10 days ago, so obviously everybody wants to know exactly what was the situation, and you have to look at it. But the big difference is, it was not like, let's say, Alex Galchenyuk was available right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would take less than 24 hours to make that trade. Thing is, the GMs, they had to do their own inquiry about who's Evander Kane, what happened, is it a big gamble,
big trade with the injury
spot on our team, and it's gonna be. At the end of the day, I know some GMs told me he's a star player. But you know what? I'm not convinced he's a star player. He's a good player, works hard. Like you're not gonna find a player who's working harder than Evander Kane, and that's when people are telling me that it's his whole teammates,
mm-hmm.
and they praise him for everything, his preparation, everything he's doing to be the best on the ice. But is he as skilled as people think? I'm not sure. I'm not convinced about that. And he's a good player. Obviously, his own teammates decided in Winnipeg to reject him, to say bye-bye, you're gone. So that's why the Jets had to make that move. But at the end of the day, it's a gamble, and it's a good gamble, I'm pretty sure, for the Buffalo Sabres. But I'm convinced that there was a few teams that were a little like, oh, are we going to bring a player like him? How it's going to turn out? We have good chemistry in our team, or we have a bad one. How are we going to bring somebody else who's going to make the team tougher here? So, but right now, I think if the Jets would have waited 3 months, maybe more teams would have been interested, because it would have been easier for them to make a move after the season than during the season. But as of right now, I'm pretty convinced that there was too many teams that were saying, hey, we want to win the Stanley Cup this year. We want to entertain the game, but if you're not playing, we cannot. It's impossible for us to do that trade.
Yeah, and the other thing too, of course, for Winnipeg, is the immediate impact is that this allows Dustin Buffalo to go back to defense as well, which is kind of the decision he prefers, but probably at the end of the day makes him a little stronger. Bruno, thank you so much for doing this as always.
No problem, Jeff. Have a nice weekend.
It's Bruno Lavoie, JVR Sports, our NHL insider. You can follow him on Twitter at Ren Lavoie. So I think Ren Lavoie pretty clear that he likes the haul from the Jets' point of view. I kind of like what the Sabres got. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Tyler Myers and Drew Stafford. And Glenn Healy on Primetime Sports yesterday was talking up Brendan Lemieux, and he is right. The Winnipeg Jets did try to trade up to acquire Brendan Lemieux when he fell through the second round of the draft. But again, looking at the end game for the Sabres, you know, I can see the Sabres basically in landing Evander Kane getting a ready-made line mate for Connor McDavid if they win the Connor McDavid sweepstakes. And if not, you can probably flip him. You might be able to get a first-round pick for him. You might be able to get a first-round pick for him. I think it's a very savvy move by Tim Murray. And Dan Dunleavy, the TV radio play-by-play voice of the Buffalo